All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. You are in for a treat. We are here for about 40 minutes to have a conversation among old friends of 25 plus years and brand new friends of 5 minutes. We really want this time to be, imagine that you're kind of sitting with us as we are gathering across 4 time zones. What a wonder is technology. And very informal, pull up a chair, have a cup of tea or coffee with us as we meander through and share some amazing stories with some of my favorite people on the planet. My name is Sarah Davison-Tracy. I'm founder of Seeds of Exchange, which is a community organization that just does this, gathers people to share stories and find ways to really care for each other in our neighborhoods and around the world. And that's what brought me to Ukraine last week and brings us together here. And I want to have Marquise start with the next introduction because she is actually what brings us all together, and her 50th birthday extravaganza.
Johnny's too. Wasn't just mine.
Johnny and Marquis. So Johnny is her husband, beloved husband. So Q, Marquis, would you share a little bit about who you are, about your and Johnny's 50th extravaganza, and how that has been one of the threads that has woven us together?
Sure. So, well, I grew up in Seattle, Washington, and I got involved with Young Life when I was in college. And I knew that when I went off to college that I needed to get involved with something to just be able to keep following God and not, I didn't know anybody. So I looked up Young Life and brought my best friend along, my new best friend that I'd made. And it just became such a great thing for me to have some place just to meet other kids, other college kids and things like that. And then you fast forward my life to Denver, is where I met my friend Sarah. And we lived at this really cool place called the Downing House. And that was a really fun, amazing time of meeting people from all around the world. And then I got married, met my husband John, and we went to Seattle, and now we're here in San Jose. And we moved here 4 years ago. And the first thing that I did, because I had 2 kids, Taggart, who was starting 6th grade, middle school, and Helena, who was in elementary school, I knew that I wanted to. Young Life was such a helpful, great thing for me when I didn't know anybody going to college. And so I thought, that's the best thing. Let me see if it's here in San Jose. So I got onto Facebook and I just searched San Jose Young Life and got a random email, and I sent it and introduced myself. And this woman here, she immediately responded back and said, "Hi, well, I'm Danielle, the area director of San Jose Young Life, and I'm new, and I just moved here too from up north in Marin County," and invited me to come to a committee meeting. And so that then started this friendship that's now going on for 4 years. And it's just been something that my kids started going and bringing their friends. And we started a little group 4 years ago on Friday mornings we just call it the Friday Morning Mamas Group. And we meet for coffee and breakfast every Friday morning. And sometimes there's 8 people, and sometimes there's 1 person, and it's and me and 1 person. And so it's just been this, and it's all moms of kids, of teens, and a place where we do Rosebud Thorn, where we share our rose, something that's going well, something we can be thankful for, and our bud, something that we're looking forward to, and our thorn, which is pretty obvious, something that's not so great, and that we could help pray for one another and just think about one another. And so just having this little community has really been the biggest blessing in my life and my family's life the past 4 years. And so when we had this, both my husband and I were turning 50, 2 months apart, and I thought we got to have a big party. But I didn't want people to feel pressure to bring gifts. So I just was I think when we're here and we're watching the news, we feel a little helpless of what to do, because we see all these images and our heart breaks for what's happening in your country of Ukraine. And it can feel overwhelming, and it's hard to know what to share with your teenagers, because they're just coming out of the pandemic. There's a lot of kids who are struggling and going through hard things, just even if there wasn't a pandemic. There's a couple of kids have lost their dads, and there's people going through divorce, and there's people who have losing jobs, and there's just a lot of pain in life. And then you tack on the pandemic, and then you tack on looking at the news. And so my heart was just sort of going, what can I do? And I thought, I wonder if Young Life is in Ukraine. So this lovely thing of Instagram can be kind of annoying, but it also can be kind of helpful. I just started searching, I wonder if Young Life's in Ukraine, and then it popped up, Young Life Ukraine. So I'm like, oh, maybe I should send them a message. And so I just messaged them, and right away, somebody responded back, and I just said, is there any way we could give gifts directly to you guys? And they said, yeah. And so anyway, that's just sort of how it came about. And then one of my best friends, Sarah, she just said, like, a few days, did you go before the party? Right after the party, you said, well, I've got this opportunity to go, and I'm going to Ukraine. I'm like, well, you should look up Young Life Ukraine. She's like, well, send it to me. And then I don't know what happens, some sort of magic happened. And next thing I know, she's with you all in Ukraine. And that just like started this whole craziness but it also doesn't surprise me at all, because God is pretty crazy like that, just connects people together. And so anyway, that just is, I'm surprised and not surprised about the fact that we're here together on this call. So I'm just so excited to meet you all, and how we can partner together, because we have more to do to help. And I think it feels good to help for people when you feel helpless. So anyway, I'm just excited to see you guys on faces here.
Thank you.
Yes, and I want to make sure for the kids and adults, old folks like me that are watching, the thing I love about this story is it's very simple. It came from our good friend Marquis just wanting to celebrate with her friends and family for her 50th birthday with her husband. And literally she just reached out to a community that's been capturing her attention. And it rippled into my life, which now ripples into, this conversation. And we just never know what is going to happen when we take a step that we're drawn to take. She had no clue that it would morph into this. She's just a girl who loves to party with her friends and share some love and be her Marquis self, share the love as big and wide and far as she can. So I'm inspired by that, and I hope all of us that are watching. So Danielle, will you share with us a little bit about you and what you're up to in California?
Yeah, well, Marquis the talker, so I'll be short and simple. Yeah, so I've been on Young Life staff since 2002 in a couple different places up and down California, born and raised in California. And I've got 3 daughters, ages 16 to 33. And my oldest was a Young Life kid that became ours. We adopted her. And so this connection idea is something that I've seen the Lord do for a long time through Young Life. And I mean, knowing Gary Parsons and his daughters, and we didn't live I used to live just a town away from them when they lived in Santa Barbara. So it's so cool. I've heard stories of him starting Young Life over in your part of the world the whole time I've been on staff. So this is just a really amazing connection piece. And I think it's one of my favorite things about Young Life is the global connection, like to understand the way God moves around the world, and to meet our brothers and sisters in different places. There's nothing like it. There just really isn't. So it's a privilege to be able to connect like this and see how the Lord just 20 years of my life, something I've heard about, come closer through the Lord is a blessing. So thank you guys for being here, and I'm excited to be invited.
So Valentyn and Iryna. So for those that don't know, Valentyn is coming to us from Chernovsky, Ukraine, and Iryna is his mama coming to us from the Czech Republic. We're going to talk a little bit about why they're a country, they're not in the same country right now. That's part of the story that they're going to share with us. But we just want to say, you guys, thank you for joining us. And I know from having only recently met you, but had some amazing conversations with each of you, and your husband, Sasha, Valentyn's dad, Sasha, I got to know when I was in Ukraine. This family immediately just became locked with our team's hearts. And I cannot wait to share you guys with our friends and family. Would you guys each share, just take a moment. In a minute, we'll dive into the youth and the family kind of threads we're going to follow. But Valentyn, will you share with us a little bit about who you are, give us a little glimpse into your world, and where you live and what it's like for you right now in Chernovsky, Ukraine?
Thank you very much. First, I want to say thank you for this opportunity to share, to be on this call. It's really stunning how we can just connect and share the different messages and news from each other, and it's really it's melting my heart right now, kind of. So really appreciate it. So hello to everyone. My name is Valentyn Utkin. I'm hail from Ukraine, Chernovsky. I am 24 years old, and I'm the kind of kid you would name the kid of young life, because here's my mama and my father is they were the first people who one of the first people who went to young life camps here in Ukraine, and shortly after that were the team and the staff members of Young Life here. So I'm the one who was born in Young Life, and probably be the one who will also die in Young Life. So bit of my story is a little bit. So yeah, the first all of my 24 years is a big party. A lot of people, a lot of young life. You know, people just coming by, passing by. A lot of different camps, clubs every year, and it's really young life is not just a big part of my life. It's the way my life was spent mostly. Great childhood, the greatest. I mean, I can't imagine the better one. And some studying after that, moved to Poland, returned from Poland to here, and continue doing Young Life. Right now, I'm a Young Life team captain. We're doing regular Young Life Friday clubs right now. I have been captain for 2.5 years already. Was in a team before that for like a long time. Then the Poland was the path in my ministry for studying. Then I returned for all this. And right now, having a great team of 15 plus people here in Chernovsky. This is just one of the 5 teams that we're having right now in this city, doing the thing that we were meant to be doing Young Life ministry, helping those kids to find their way, to find themselves, and to find God also. That's probably it. From the recent events, the most most not imaginable weight of God's answer that we could have been. So there was a request for water filters just from more eastern Ukraine in Zaporozhye, where the conflict is more close by right now. And the request was sent in some morning, like people were saying that we need water, the water supply is running low, we need something more. In the evening that day, my father receives an email about the people out of nowhere having water filters and teaching how to use them to come in Ukraine. And it was like one of the greatest meetings in this period, that people just came by and they were just a gift from God. This is not like some kind of circumstance. This is it just was a plan, and you can see it clearly. And great evening with your team, Sarah, with you and guys, and great time in a car, those special talks, really remembering them with all the warm and love about that. So yeah, that was the recent one.
Thank you, my friend. And actually, you kind of just did this, Valentyn, but for those that are watching, that we've been talking about Young Life a lot. I'm realizing I want to give a quick context. I also grew up in Young Life, one of the greatest gifts and greatest parts of my youth. But very, very simply, Young Life is this incredible community around the world that is in place to help kids from junior high, high school, college, and the kid in all of us to grow and find more of who we are. It's a faith-based organization. So the heart of many people, of all of the Young Life leaders that I know, they know and love Jesus, and they want to be kind of a bridge between kids and Jesus, to be able to experience who he is, and just the gift that comes in our sense of self as we experience him, as we're growing into who we are and why we're here in the world, in this incredible, robust, fun, vibrant community. Like the biggest laughs I've ever had, I think, have been with Young Life. But what I want to say is, for those that don't know about Young Life, aren't, Jesus is not the way you connect with God, please stick with us in this conversation, because we do believe that we are united as sisters and brothers, regardless of our faith, regardless of how we connect with God, if we believe there's a God. I do hope and believe that in this conversation, you're going to learn something about two people that really inspire us all, and about a country that has a lot going on in it. And so for those of us that need some hope, stick with us, because these two, Valentyn and Iryna, have been beacons of hope for me, and inspiration and love. So may this be a place that we can have a conversation regardless of our faith. You're going to hear Young Life, and you're going to hear God, and you're going to hear Jesus. Please just stick with us if those aren't words or ways that you connect with God spiritually, because I believe if you're here, there are no accidents, as we've said now 3 or 4 different times. So Iryna, will you share a little bit about where you are and a little glimpse of your story?
So hello everyone. As you heard, my name is Iryna, and right now I'm happenly to be in the Czech Republic, in a little village called Libun. It's like 80 kilometers away from Prague. So, and it's we're living in the area which is called Czech Paradise, and in the used retirement house which is called White House. So to be in the White House in the Czech Paradise, not so bad. So a little bit of my story, as you heard, that's Me and my husband Sasha, being first teenagers in the Young Life Camp, which was provided by Gary Parsons, the first Young Life Camp in Ukraine, a long time ago, 27 years ago. So, and we went accidentally, like God doesn't have any accidents in his life, but we didn't know where we're going for sure. And we're growing up in the Soviet Union times in the atheistic country where everyone in the schools, your families, everyone says that God does not exist. And we never heard about any believers in any stories about God. We saw some churches, but it wasn't our lifestyle. So in that camp, through Gary Parsons talks, we met Jesus and we came to know Christ, and it was the best thing that could be happened with us, because for Soviet Union teenagers, it's not too much a future ahead. So, long story short, after that camp, being really young, like 18 and 17 years old, we get married. And in the 2 years, we got Valentyn. First, we got our first son, Sasha, the same name with my husband, Sasha. And then second was Valentyn, and then Camelia, she's 21 right now. And so our life was changed. We stuck with the Young Life because we heard exactly calling from the God that we need to help those kind of kids like we were, and just help them to get to know Jesus and get to know God and just have hope for future. So, and how happened that I'm here? So as you heard, that's 24th of February, Russia starts to war with Ukraine. They call it like special operation, but it's a really war with Ukraine. So for letting you know, we were with Sasha all the time together. Like we were together in the ministry, we worked together, stick like one to another, like one. And we never, for Sasha, send me out from the country. It should be a really strong reason for that, because we were 24 hours all the time together. So I was I still his right hand, but from the distance right now. But it's all the time, like he all the time preferred to be together with me and have me in all his trips and everywhere. So for send me out from country, it's should be a really strong reason, and this reason came. So 24th of February, we've been in Kiev on this family conference, and we wake up from the knocking to the door, and somebody told us that the Russians bombing Kharkov, and we got this news about 5:40 in the morning. So we thought that's probably this day later we're gonna go home because it was Saturday, but our conference is supposed to be until Saturday. It was Wednesday, sorry. It was Wednesday, and our conference was supposed to be through the Saturday. So, but then just in a minute later, as we thought that, we heard just rocket flying under our head. And this was just like shaking you really strong. And my Sasha announced it to everyone to just they have only 40 minutes to pack everything and just go to the home. So we came back in the evening of Thursday, and Saturday morning he sent me out from the country with my 3 youngest kids. It's 15, 14, and 13 years old. We are adopted those kids, 4 of them actually, but the oldest, she's married already and have a baby. So with 3 youngest, I was sent out first to Romania, but then I spent a couple of weeks in Belgium, and then I came over here. And we have just a wonderful opportunity that's Young Life help us to be over here. I'm not alone here. Here is couple women who is there also from Ukraine, my friends from Young Life, and we're united in this one house, and we can encourage each other and be together and just spend time together, and it's much easier than all this situation. So that's why I happily be here, and just short story long.
No, I wish we could hear the long story. Valentyn had some internet issues, so he's going to come back, but we heard a little longer version of Sasha and Iryna's love story, and the way that their first time in Young Life Club was hilarious. Camp was amazing, and sometime we'll have to share that, Danielle, with you and Marquis. But I'm noticing in Valentyn's, I know right where he is, we were up in there, they hosted our team for our night in Chernihiv in Ukraine, and Sasha, Iryna's husband, is an incredible storyteller, and he gathered us all up in his library, which is where Valentyn's coming to us from, and he brought a plate of cheeses and olives and crackers and nuts, and we just sat there for like 2 hours. Iryna zoomed in like this, and they shared their love story and a few chapters of their life together. Welcome back, Valentyn. So I'm telling them I know exactly where you're sitting, and I love remembering being up in that library with you and your dad just last week. It was quite a night. Okay, Valentyn, will you share with us? Yeah.
Sorry for my internet lags out there. Don't know the reason.
It's all good. There's always internet. If there's 4 people from all over the world, someone's going to be tossed off because internet is. So Valentyn, will you share with us a little bit? What do you see from, you being a young fella yourself, but really like talking with the teens in Ukraine? What do you see as things that they're thinking about, talking about, worried about? And then what would you say is giving them hope, that they're feeling hope in the midst of all the hard going
on? So firstly, I must say that there's 2 categories of teens right now. Okay. The one who lived here in Chernihiv, the one who were not bombed and at all. Our city, our district was not attacked by any bombs or artillery. So those ones are most calm, peaceful, and not affected by all the bad stuff that you can get from war in your country. And the second category is those who are forced to leave their houses, the ones who does not have their cities standing. Like I know a couple of teenagers right now that in our city, whose cities are right now is just grounded. I mean, there's not stone on stone right there. So for the first ones, they're spending the time to adapt to a new kind of reality right now. They haven't been fear war to just adapt like it was with the COVID quarantines and all of this. And it, because the reasons of wars are more harsh than the COVID reasons. So, and they're just trying to move from one to another and trying to get their minds, their thoughts somewhere else. And it always can be different stuff. If we're talking about teenagers, it's always something like parties, alcohol, and this kind of stuff. So for the second group, it's more harsh because they are also want to get their mind from the news, from all the stuff that happened, but they don't have the ways to find this replacement. I mean, they don't have companies of people that they can follow. They don't know the place here. It's a new city. They don't have the friends. So mostly those kids are sitting at homes on the internet, trying to connect with their friends if there's something, some ways to connect, like Instagram, Zoom, different chats, and that kind of stuff, or just trying to fill their mind with some positivity from YouTube. I mean, like it's fun. It can be like all day TikTok scrolling, and it's like this. Their life is just like change fully, and it's took on different direction, and they don't know how to handle themselves in those kind of directions. So for the hope, for the first category, it's the spirit of our country, the fighting spirit. It's the faith in our military forces, the faith in our government, our president, and for the kids, one of their languages is memes, and speaking all of that through memes is also what they really feeling like. And for the second category is just they just hope to return home someday, to end this war and return to their houses. So harsh to both of them, but there's the one category that's is more affected by the war.
Yeah, and I don't think I mentioned there, tell me if this is right, Valentyn and Iryna, 1,000 refugees from all over Ukraine that Young Life Chernivtsi is hosting and providing home.
Yeah, that's been over 1,000 people right now. That so from the start of the war, we returned from Kiev from this conference, family conference that we had, and it was just first day we went to sleep. On the second day here at this house, we already had some local captains who were planning to how we will help in this. So we change our way of things for a bit, because the first month was really the most request was to helping refugees from East Ukraine to find places, and the first month was like that. All of our clubhouses, our places that we had for clubs, for ministry, we changing them up for taking refugees, making kitchens, making different kind of comfort stuff that they can live in, buying a lot of like towels, beds, pillows, all of that stuff, those stuff. And the first month was like that, and it's continuing right now. 4 of our places from here in Chernovtsi, where we had young life clubs and different ministries, right now is filled with refugees from East Ukraine.
Yeah.
And if we count all of that, there's a statistic for everyone. It's about 1,000 people that we received and helped with a I don't know, roof upon their heads. How do you say that?
Yeah. We toured 2 of the places, and like Valentyn said, we had pizza with a whole bunch of these refugees from all over Ukraine, and it's a beautiful thing to see how you guys have made not just beds, but very beautiful, cozy, safe places. So well done, and it's amazing. Iryna, will you talk to us a little bit about kind of from the perspective of being a mom, you know, a parent, what do you think is something important to you for us to understand about what's going on just from as a parent of kids who are growing up right now with this reality, and what's kind of capturing your attention in the family arena?
So as a mom, it's in the biggest part, it's from the beginning of the war, you're all the time thinking about the safetyness of your kids. And this is the biggest reason which is moving you to some other places. If not the kids, I would probably do not go anywhere, you know. And for us with Sasha, it's become really important to save their, and not just the physically health, but mentally and psychology also, because even if we will stay in the Chernovtsi city, and it's anyway, the sirens, it's happening regularly. As soon as somewhere flying the bombs, sirens is going on in our city also. So it's and all tension that's happening around with the people who is talking all the time about the news, what's happening, what's happening on the east, you know, some they're sharing between adults their worries of what's going to happen if Putin will do that, or what's going to happen if it's going to turn in some bad way, you know, all of this stuff. It's they're hearing, they're listening that, and it's also affecting them. So the most important to help kids to go through that. Even if my kids, it's pretty adult, you know, like at 13, 14, and 15, they're kind of can work with their issues, what's happening in their souls, you know, like and they can handle some stuff, but sometimes you can help them just by talking. You know, like even my kids, they wasn't being effective even sirens, because we left even before the siren starts. So and they didn't hear the sirens, they didn't saw any bombs, but they are still thinking about that, and just to be open to the talk, to the honest talk with each of them. It's really helpful for them when they can just open their hearts. And even my husband just shared on the previous service, church service, that they were in Zaporizhia, just right after you left. They went there to share these water filters, and they just called to all those teenagers who left in that city and who were there all this time. And they get together and just they didn't make the program, club program or something. They just asked them one question: what you think about in the first day of war? And for them, it was so important to release all their feelings and to talk about what they feel and what they felt. And it was so helpful for them. It's their kind of, some of them couldn't even talk with their parents, and because the parents, it's really concentrate on the news or something like, or how to survive, how to find a job, where to get money, because most of them lost the jobs. So even for those teenagers, it's really important that somebody listen them. Just somebody listen their thoughts and feelings and what they felt on that times, and how they work through that during this time. So this is a really cool thing to talk. With the youngest, sometimes situations, it's much harder. For example, those moms who is with me, they're having little babies, and one of the ladies, she shared that her baby, as soon as the sirens starting going on each day in Zaporizhia, she's from Zaporizhia, and they heard some kind of bombing far away, but her little girl started to pee in the night time, and just it's never happened before, and that moment she figured out that she need to escape from that place and just save her baby until it's getting worse. When she came over here, she a little bit relaxed, in her baby becoming normal again. And it's so good and helpful. And other kids who they are about 7, 8 years old, they are just they didn't want to leave their mom for a minute even. They just wanted to stick with them all the time. And each time when mom going somewhere, like in the kitchen or in the bathroom, they are just scarcely asking, where are you going, don't left me. And just this all of these things, it's kind of the whole tension around, it's really affecting them. So it's really important to remember that also. And That's why most of them just left the country and just give them their kids more opportunity to feel more safetyness, more calm, more free.
Thank you. Marquis and Danielle, what would you say as we need to start wrapping up this conversation? Hopefully there'll be more. Would you guys each like to have is there a question that comes to mind for either Iryna or Valentyn as we wrap up? Is there anything that you thought, oh, I'd like to hear more about that, or something brand new?
I am blessed by your courage and your faithfulness. So yeah, besides prayers, because that's the obvious, I'm just really curious as to what really is a way that is what is most helpful to you, whether you're in the Czech Republic, is that there a way we can support you there, or you're in the, Ukraine, just how do we, support you as your brothers and sisters in Christ?
First of all, it's prayers. We need a lot of prayers. And no, actually, what the biggest hope for me that it's will not continue forever. I don't know when it's gonna finish, but we definitely hope this will finish someday. And the other thing that it's really encouraging me and give me strong to be over here and stay over here as long as it's gonna be needed. That's God has a plan for everything, and it's nothing happened accidentally. So even here, to be in this little village, we connected with the Young Life Europe, and we connected with the other refugee centers where this teenagers like 15, 14 years old, and the guys can go in these refugee centers and play with our Ukrainian refugee kids over here in Czech Republic, and they're really hungry about their having some hope and hearing something that will give them hope for future. And you can see it clearly because they're really scared. They're disappointment. They don't know what to expect in future, and it's really important for them to give this hope. And it's really good when some believers it's standing side by side with them and share the gospel and share the hope on Jesus and share that the God has a reason for everything, and this is all happening in some purpose, in good purpose.
And to add to that, pray for our possibilities to continue our clubs, and pray for possibility to make camp this year, because we're planning to make a camp this year through this war. Even that's not a reason not to do this. Smaller, different kind of camp, but still a young life camp. So because we can see how teenagers coming to our clubs, finding new group of friends, especially those ones who moved from their cities, and how they're changing, how they're trying to open up in our clubs, in conversations, in friendship. And we can see how our love that we're showing, the God's love that comes through us to those kids, changes them. So pray for that, that we could continue this and never be stopping from any reason to continue this ministry. This is the most important thing to us right now, to still be able to continue doing clubs, doing meetings, doing camps, doing contact work, speaking, telling, teaching, and inspire those kids to everything that God is inspire us. Because I can really say that here we are feeling all the prayers, and we are feeling the love of God, and how He's blessing, how He blesses us with all of the kind of blessings, and each one is way greater than the previous one. So this is a really great time to see the God's glory in everything that's happening around. And also, what I would ask for you to do is to tell and to speak about Ukraine, about all the things that are happening right here, because we need attention. We need the world's attention. We need world's eyes on us, and being able for you to tell, to explain correctly, to tell the real stuff that you can hear from us, from the ones who are here. It's really important, because all of the feeds, news, everything can be like different there. So speak about us, and tell some people that we are still doing this, and we're still continuing, and we are never gonna stop this, because this is not a reason for us to stop. And really, we are, like, from all of the Young Life Ukraine, we're really grateful for all of the support that we are receiving from you. This is just stunning, how much love through you, how much prayers, and how much different kind of resources and needs you replenish, that God's replenish through you. So it's just a blessing to be right now in this time, though it's sad time right now, but it's a blessing to be here and see all the God's glory. God have a plan, and we're already seeing how this plan comes to life, and what benefits even we can take from this war. Like the most moving thing for me is how here in Ukraine, the ministries such as Young Life is getting recognizable by government, by people, by different cities from all of the Ukraine, because we are doing so much, because we are opening aid centers, we are opening safe houses, we are moving just like convoys with food, with aid, with all of the needed in East Ukraine, and those convoys of 12, 10 cars moving through Ukraine, through all of the military posts, and like they can recognize us at this point, because we're just everywhere there. And this is a blessing, because when the war ends, and it ends with our victory, the people will know what is Young Life about, of how much great stuff they did in this time, and the parents will not be afraid to keep their kids to Young Life camps. We will be heard, we will be recognizable in all of the Ukraine, because in every city in Ukraine, almost in every city in Ukraine, we have a safe house, or a people that are helping right now in those places where it's needed. So this is just an example of how how God's glory is going through all of this and showing to all of us. So thank you.
Amazing. Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you. Marquis, would you like to say a word or ask a question? I know we need to wrap up here, but I would like to.
I know we need to wrap up. I just want to say, it's amazing to watch you guys and listen to your stories, and just the kindred connection I'm feeling of moms and teens, and that's where my heart breaks right now the most, just in our own town, and then to be hearing your guys' stories and what you're doing. I just say, well done. To you too, and both of you are just loving just what God calls us to do, is to love him and love our neighbor. And you guys are loving, Iryna, you're loving the moms and the kids, and Valentyn, you're loving those teens and those communities and everybody around you and doing what you can. And it's such a witness to us to do that in our own town, and for the kids to hear this, and that one person and a little small group of people can make a difference, and you guys are making a huge difference. And so we're connected with you guys, and I feel like we can be like sister brother clubs of being whatever we can do to spread the word, like you said, and to share this far and wide. And then I think the whole like $65 provides one water filter. Like, if every family does that, how many water filters is that? How many people does that? And so it's just, so thank you. I'm so inspired. And I think everybody listening to this, teens and adults, will be inspired, and that there's no coincidence, that this is, I think, kind of meant to happen. And so we're with you. And thank you so much for doing what you're doing. And we want to be there with you and do what we can.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very
your
much.
Support. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys.
Appreciate it
so much. And to those watching, I just want to plant this seed of just taking a moment to pay attention to what is being sparked in you, like leaning into the story. Maybe it's something that Marquis, Danielle, Iryna, Valentyn said that is taking your breath away, or making you uncomfortable, or thinking, wow, I want to do more of that. Like, we really can be profoundly changed by each other's stories and by friendships with people we haven't even met yet. So allow this to be something that inspires you, encourages you, maybe propels you into something uncomfortable, but that will feel really good when you get into this place, like Marquis was saying, doing something for a neighbor or a family member or someone far away. Like, we really can care for each other in ways that make profound differences and really light up our own lives with meaning and purpose and love and joy. So, my friends, thank you for sharing your heart, for taking time out of very, very full days for both of you, Iryna and Valentyn. And man, we just wish you incredible blessings, like far more than you could imagine, dream up, and definitely to be reunited in the same home. How did you say, like the right hand and the left hand together with Sasha and Iryna, and like the glue that you guys have been for so many in your home. So until that time, we'll be praying for you guys and with you and doing whatever we can to support you all. So love you guys. Marquis and Danielle, thanks for joining. Bye.
Until next time.
Until next time.
Until next time. Yeah. Glory to Ukraine. Glory to
Ukraine.
That's funny that way.
That's going to be the last word. Glory to Ukraine.
There we go.
Ukraine. Amen.